Are you looking for a small town to relocate to? Want to buy a home in a small town? Keep watching. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to The World According to Briggs. Let's take a look at small towns in New England. Wherever you go in this great country of ours, you will find great small towns. I love small towns, and I'm not alone. More and more people are relocating to small town America. As I pointed out in past videos, big cities are starting to lose their appeal. They're overpriced, overcrowded, they're polluted. It's just not worth it these days to more and more people. Why pay double to sit in bumper-to-bumper traffic while you breathe in car exhaust when you can move to a small town when things like a loose cow is in the news and not a triple homicide? Today's video is about the 10 best small towns in New England. Now, if you've ever been to New England, you already know there's about 300 great small towns to move to. These are the best 10 that are probably more appealing to most people. A lot of you will probably feel we missed some, and that's great. We'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. As I always say, we're probably going to make another video about this, and we'd love to add your suggestion. Let us know. All right, sit back, relax, and let's take a look at what we found. Number 10, Essex, Connecticut. If you've ever heard the phrase charming small town, they may have been talking about Essex. To be clear, you have Essex, and inside that you have Essex Village. And that's where the charming comes in. Essex is nice and was actually called a perfect small town in 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. It's a book. I think a lot of the consideration for that was actually Essex Village. The town of Essex has a little over 6,000 residents, and the village, which is inside, like I said, has about 2,500 of them. If you visit Essex Village, you will probably be inspired to write a book or a screenplay with it as the backdrop. It's that cute of a place. Something like, a young Reese Witherspoon moves here to start a new life. She meets a local washboard stomach attractive 30-year-old fisherman, and they hook up. Her past catches up with her in the form of an abusive Wall Street controlling ex-husband. All of a sudden, the washboard stomach boyfriend shows up, and we learn he was actually an ex-Navy SEAL who snaps him in two and takes him for a boat ride in the middle of the night. He comes back alone. They live happily ever after ordering Amazon stuff. Yeah, that's how nice this place is. Essex Village looks like a movie set is what I'm trying to say. All of the stats are graded A or A+ here except for cost of living, which is a big fat F, so is housing. Costs a lot of money to hang out with Reese Witherspoon. The median home price here is $475,000. That's about the lowest you're going to find there, somewhere in the $400 to $500 area. Most of the houses here are $800,000 and above with some, $2-3 million that are right on the water. Beautiful place though. Number 9, Bar Harbor, Maine. Bar Harbor, Maine has a population of about 5,500 permanent residents, and it's a nice place to live. I mean, unless you're some 20-year-old goth emo kid, you're going to say you hate it wherever you live, and they're going to leave comments about it, just stop typing. Bar Harbor's nice, get over it. It's really hard to find a crappy place to live in Maine anyway. It's almost like you got to ask the locals where the crappy place is to live, and they'll have a hard time telling you. If you ever take a Canadian cruise, if and when they ever start up again, chances are Bar Harbor is going to be one of the ports you'll stop at. Like if you leave New York or Boston, spend the day in Bar Harbor when that boat lets you off. You'll enjoy it. If they do ever make those cruises safe again and you go, keep in mind the Canadian cruises aren't the Caribbean cruises with half-dressed 20-year-olds around the pool. This crowd is a bit older, but the scenery is totally worth it. Try the Norwegian Cruise Line one. Like I said, if these are ever safe again. When you get to Bar Harbor, prepare not to want to leave. It's that nice. Bar Harbor is beautiful and is always a summer vacation favorite for people on the East Coast. It's located on the north side of Mount Desert Island, and it's not too far from, in my opinion, one of the most overlooked national parks, Acadia National Park. That's something, I don't know if you'd have time to go there on a cruise day, but if you went there and lived there or just visited for a couple days, go to Acadia National Park and bring a good camera. You'll thank me later. If you visit or move to Bar Harbor, don't go there expecting a killer nightlife. They don't have one. But you should be prepared to eat a lot of really good seafood. They have plenty of that. The median home listing price in Bar Harbor is about $477,000. Now, that's the low end. They got a lot of nice houses with a lot of ocean views for $1 million plus. All the stats in Bar Harbor get an A or an A+. Again, the only bad ones, well, actually there's 3 on this one. They don't really have any jobs because most everyone there has money, but the cost of living is high and so is housing. Number 8, Hanover, New Hampshire. Hanover is located along the Connecticut River on the border with Vermont. This is home to Dartmouth College, or Dartmouth College if you want to make the locals and the alumni skin crawl. They hate that. Oh my God. I said that 3 times in a video in the past, and one time I made the mistake of reading it and saying Dartmouth instead of Dartmouth. Oh my God, the amount of grief I got was hysterical. Anyway, Because of the students, they have more than enough bars and restaurants and places to shop. Everything you need that way. Throw in the fact they have some really good museums. This is definitely a place worth giving a look. At least visit here. This is one of the nicer college towns in the country, especially one that has a major college. Sure, it's an Ivy League college. It's no, giant state university or something like that, but Dartmouth is a great college, and this is a great town. Really, most college towns are just wrecked with crime and traffic. Hanover has none of that. Again, the only thing that gets an F here is cost of living. Everything else is A, or their housing is ranked to C, which I don't understand because the median home price is $700,000. It's a lot of money, but this is a really nice place in New Hampshire. And they've got 11,500 residents living here. Now, a lot of them are college students, so it's really not as big a town as that makes it sound. Number 7, New Shoreham, Rhode Island. New Shoreham is better known by the name of the island that it actually sits on, Block Island. Block Island sits about 12 miles off a Rhode Island shore between Montauk, New York, and Martha's Vineyard. Block Island is a great island to live on if you have a fat bank account and you hate year-round warm weather islands like you'd find in the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you want to say it. Block Island has great summers, don't get me wrong, but their winters can get terribly cold. If you want to visit, don't try and drive. They have a small airport on the island, but about 90% of the people get there by ferry because there's no bridge. That's why you can't drive your car there, unless it's a really special James Bond car. The entire island only has about 1,000 residents, and they all are pretty much laid-back people. This is the type of place you move to if you like walking on the beach and being nice to each other. Oh, and you gotta have that big fat bank account like I said. Remember that screenplay from earlier with a young Reese Witherspoon? It could happen here just as easy. If you visit or live on Block Island, you'll have the pleasure of being able to eat at Dead-Eye Dick's. Yeah, that's the name of the place, Dead-Eye Dick's. Not as entertaining as Dick's Halfway in Missouri, but pretty good. Prices on Block Island are extremely high. The median home listing price, that's just the median listing price, is $1.2 million. Yeah, that's a little rough on the bank account, but it's a great place to live if you can afford it. Number 6, Chester, Vermont. Finally, a New England town that is affordable for the common folk like myself. The cost of living and housing are graded a D in Chester. Bravo, Chester, you're pulling it off. The median home price here is only $264,000. That's not bad. The Green Mountain Flyer excursion train is in Chester. If you know anything about me, I like trains. It has this adorable little train station. Look at that. This is one of those things that you take your kids on and, they don't want to go and you get them on there and like 10 minutes later, they're totally into it and they love it. Yeah, it's one of those. They have great hiking trails, including one called Lost Mine Hiking Trail, which sounds great. I read this one review on the town from a girl who moved there to take care of her ailing grandmother some time ago. She said when she got to Chester from Boston, she couldn't wait to get back to the city. This was like death to her, but she had to take care of her grandmother. Her grandmother had passed some years back and she never left. She still hasn't found her way back to Boston, and it's been over 20 years. She said she's happy, so that says something. I think. I imagine she's one of the 3,000 residents of Chester. 3,000 residents that seem to be very happy. Chester is one of the happiest towns in New England. Number 5, Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts. And we're right back to the pricey, but nice portion of today's list. Oak Bluffs is on Martha's Vineyard, and it's home to about 5,000 residents. Now, I said Martha's Vineyard, so right now you should be seeing dollar signs. If you don't, look back at the monitor or your phone. I put dollar signs up on the screen just now. The town is right on the edge of the water and has amazing sunrises. I don't get up that early, so that would be useless for me. If you like history, this is a great place for you. Oak Bluffs homes are some of the oldest in the country. Perfectly preserved homes, those gingerbread cottage type things with ocean views. This is one of the better looking towns I've ever been to. Everything but the cost of living and housing are graded an A in Oak Bluffs. Now here's where it sets you back. It's not as bad as some of the other ones on here, but the median home listing price here is almost $900,000. Yeah, I looked around. You don't find many for under $700,000, it seems like. Number 4, Stowe, Vermont. Look at that. Stowe made another list. They were just on our best mountain towns video like a month ago. Stowe has outstanding stats and great skiing. Their crime is 60% lower than the national average, and it's safer than 80% of the cities and towns in the United States. School test scores are like 40% higher than the national average. Everything like usual on this list, but housing and cost of living are graded an A. Stowe is a great place to ski thanks to the ski slopes. Well, I mean, obviously. It's not like they have great skiing thanks to the lemonade stand on Main and School Street, right? Even if you just go visit, you'll get that urge to move there. If you got the money, it's a good place to live. The median home listing price in Stowe is $860,000. Yeah, it's a good chunk of change. But hey, at least you're close to the Ben & Jerry's Waterbury factory, right? Number 3, Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Stockbridge is what our grandparents and great-grandparents wanted America to look like after World War II. This town looks like Walt Disney designed it for one of the parks, like America Land or something like that. Even Norman Rockwell spent his last 25 years in Stockbridge. If Mr. Rockwell decided this is where he wanted to spend the rest of his days, you know it's got to be good. This town isn't terribly expensive either. The cost of living is graded a D, and it's only 9% higher than the national average. Some of the other ones on this list were like 50% and 60% higher than the national average. This Massachusetts town inspired Norman Rockwell's artwork for many years. Stockbridge is something to see during the holiday season, too. It's got all the old-fashioned decor, all that stuff. Like I said, it looks like 1950s America. Just outside of town, you have the Norman Rockwell Museum, which I'd suggest going to see it. It's pretty interesting, the artwork that man made. The median home listing price in Stockbridge is $550,000. Not bad. Number 2, Kennebunkport, Maine. Kennebunkport was the summer home for the former U.S. President George H.W. Bush. The home was first built by Bush's grandfather, George Herbert Walker. That's how he got the H.W. It is hard to find a bad-looking home in Kennebunkport. It's also hard to find one for under $700,000. It's a little expensive. If you ever visit, a friend mentioned a little place called the Clam Shack. He grew up around Portland, Maine. Now he lives in Portland, Oregon. How odd is that? And he said this is one of those places you have to stop if you're in the area. He said it's like they have this big clam Batman signal that calls him in every time he was in the area. I don't know. I thought it was funny. This was once a shipbuilding center, and Kennebunkport became like a summer retreat in the late 1800s for the rich and wealthy. If you can swing this place financially and don't mind a crisp couple months every winter, you can relax on the beaches and walk around this cute little town. This place is adorable. This is another one that looks like Disney built it. Every stat in Kennebunkport, Maine is an A+ other than our usual cost of living and housing. Those are big fat Fs, because it's expensive. This town only has around 1,000 permanent residents. During the summer, it gets a little crowded with people, but it's still worth it to live and just to visit. All right, before we get into number 1, let us know in the comments section what region should be next. The Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, the South, or the West Coast. We're going to do another video real soon on this subject. All right, let's finish up. And number 1. Bristol, Rhode Island. First and foremost, Bristol is affordable. It is a suburb of Providence with a population of about 22,000 residents, and it's considered one of the best places to live in Rhode Island. No joke. It's been voted one of the best many times in different magazines and websites. It isn't hard to find a beautiful, well-maintained home for around $300,000 in Bristol. If you go lower, it might need a little work, but it's still worth it. If you have the coin, you can find homes for around $1 million, a little bit over, on the water with like a private dock. So buy a rowboat or something with a motor. Around 80% of the people in Bristol own their homes, and that's a good sign. People who own their homes tend to like the area. It says good things about the area, and they make sure it stays nice. Renters don't care. They'll leave a burning couch on the lawn as they leave. Bristol has a lot of bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and parks. It's filled to the brim with young professionals and retirees that, I don't know, love seafood and fresh ocean air, I guess. All the stats are A and A+, but the cost of living, which is a C+ in Bristol. That's not bad. For the other ones on this list, this makes them the number 1 spot. It's nice, probably not as nice as Kennebunkport or some of the other ones, but it is achievable for most people to live in Bristol. Bristol is still sort of unknown to many travelers and people not from the area, so it doesn't get terribly crowded. It's a nice place to visit and a great place to live. All right, that's today's list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got some information out of it. Like I always say, don't forget all the links below. And like I said, tell us what you think. Which area should we do next? Love to hear about it. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.